Hi, this is Enrique. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the most common money mistakes that millennials and Gen Z are making today. These mistakes are not just about a lot of spending, it's also the little things that can derail your financial future. If you're ready to start making smarter financial choices, please stick around as we will be discussing how to avoid these pitfalls and set yourself up for success. So the number one money mistake is having a lot of student loan debt and not having a solid repayment plan. So there are a lot of people out there stuck with a very high, large amount of student loan debt, and a lot of the times they fall behind because they don't have an actual goal in mind. So the best thing to do when it's starting to get out of control is to reach out to these financial institutions and try to find a way, if there's a way, that you can refinance this. Because a lot of the times, if you are able to refinance student loan debt, that's actually going to allow you to be able to pay it off faster in a quicker amount of time. This also will help you lower your monthly payments. So all of this combined, lowering the interest rate, having a goal as to how fast you want to pay it off, and lowering your monthly payments, your required minimum monthly payments, all of this will help you set you up better to be able to pay these off faster. If you do have a raise at work, then plan around that to pay this debt off faster. Any little bit will help. Another money mistake that millennials and Gen Z are having is the fact that they do not start investing early enough. So there is a common myth out there that says that you have to be rich or that you have to make a ton of money to be able to invest. But that is not true. The truth is that the younger that you start investing, the more that the compound interest will work in your favor. So if you are 18, 19, 20, 21, and you have a stable income, my recommendation is to try to get to a point where every single paycheck or every single month you stash away a certain amount of money into low cost index funds or possibly into a 401k or a Roth IRA or just something to get your feet wet so that you can start building that compound interest over time. And so all of this can be done automatically nowadays. You can download, there's different apps on there. You can go to Charles Schwab, you can go to Fidelity, you can go to Vanguard, or you can go to any other third party apps and set up automatic withdrawals into these types of investments. And so this can all be done in the long term. So again, if you are on the younger side, it's highly recommended that you get started then because over the years, it'll just compound over time. It'll make it a lot easier for you to be that millionaire next door. So another mistake that millennials and Gen Z are making is called lifestyle inflation. So what it is their spending usually tends to increase as their income goes up. So a lot of the times what happens is when they get a raise, their lifestyle goes up as well. So people usually end up buying a newer vehicle, moving into a fancier apartment, eating out more, taking more vacations, and so forth. So also if they get a large bonus, they tend to end up using all that money on a new toy or a new gadget or something along those lines. The best thing that you can do when you get a bonus is grab a large portion of it and stash it away into some sort of savings, whether it be a conservative savings that gains some compound interest, some index funds, or some other type of conservative investment. You can grab a small portion of it, which is fine to treat yourself, but I do recommend that the majority of it gets stashed away to be able to build up your net worth and to be able to beefing up your emergency fund as well. Also, as you increase your income, you should be able to try to live on below your means. So that'll bring long-term financial stability. You're going to have more emergency funds, you're going to sleep better at night, and you're going to be living below your means, which means that you're not going to have that issue in the future where you're going to be stressed about what happens if you lose your job or what happens if some sort of disaster happens. You'll be more prepared to handle it. So those are little things that you can do to be able to make sure that you don't fall in this trap of spending more money as your income goes up. All of this is going to help you reach your financial goals faster and to be able to partially retire or fully retire faster than your peers. I'd like to give a shout out to James. Thank you for this Christmas card. I really appreciate it. Again, if any of you want to send anything to my P.O. box, it's listed in the description down below. Another mistake that millennials and Gen Z are making is they tend to overuse the credit that they have available. So a lot of the times what ends up happening is as you become more responsible with your credit, a lot of these credit issuers will start giving you higher and higher balances on your credit limit. What used to be a $500 credit limit on a credit card now could be $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. So what ends up happening is people start seeing that and they start taking advantage of it. But the problem is that it gets harder over time to make the minimum monthly payments and you start falling into a debt trap. Also, you have the buy now, pay later. That's actually a very common trend right now. In my opinion, I think you should stay away from that as well. It's also a debt trap as well. If you cannot pay off your balance in full every single month, then it's not recommended that you get into credit card debt. You want to make sure that your total overall credit balances, you stay below 30% or even more favorably, even below 10% of your total credit limits. So if you have $1,000 credit limit, you always want to stay below 10%, which is $100. And you also want to make sure that you pay these credit cards in full so that you can take advantage of all the rewards and all the points that these credit card companies offer. But at the same time, you'll be able to not have to pay any interest and you'll come out ahead of the game. Another common money mistake that millennials and Gen Z are making is the fact that they do not have an emergency fund. So a lot of times what ends up happening is every time that you get paid, you see this money sitting in your bank account and you end up blowing through the entire thing. Why? Because maybe you fell into the trap of lifestyle inflation, or maybe you had some sort of unexpected expense. But the thing is it's very important for you to little by little build up some sort of emergency fund. Without an emergency fund, you could have some sort of emergency, such as an auto repair bill, or maybe you had something go out in your house where you need to fix it. And instead of having the emergency fund, what do people run to? They run into their credit cards. And again, that's another trap because then you end up paying a lot of interest. So the best thing that you can do is to start little by little. Set yourself up where maybe you want to start a goal of $500 in the emergency fund. And you can all do this all with automatic transfers from your checking account on every 2 weeks or every month. Start setting up side $50 or $100 or whatever you can, but try to get to that goal of $500. Once you get to that goal of 500, make it 1,000, then make it 2,000, and then get it to the point where maybe you want to do that 3 to 6 month emergency fund, and then eventually work yourself up to a point where maybe you have a year's worth of emergency fund. And my best suggestion to you is try to reach your ultimate goal of 18 months. So that way you know for a fact that if you ever lose your job or you ever have some sort of family disaster where maybe you need to take a month off, you'll have 18 months of emergency fund. That's the best situation that you can be in. So those are the top 5 money mistakes that millennials and Gen Z are currently making in today's world. Remember that the biggest takeaway here is that financial success doesn't come from making big moves. It comes from the small, consistent moves that you make on a day-to-day basis. So you have to take a moment to assess where you are financially and make sure you are avoiding these financial mistakes. What mistakes have you learned from today? Please drop a comment down below and let me know if you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos. I will continue to provide you good content that I think makes you a better person, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.